basically, me and Sean, the drummer, we've kept in touch from the early days all the way through to present, even to the point where our families are very close and everything. And every time we get together, we often reminisce about the good old days and the gigs and everything. And one night, Sean was at my house, and reminiscing it led to me digging out the demo tapes, and we put them on, obviously, and listened to them, and started thinking, you know, that's not too bad, that's pretty good, you know, even though it's from the 80s, it's really good, you know. We kept saying, you know, that could stand up with anything today, really. And, you know, we just started enjoying it, and then that led to a conversation which we've had umpteen times over the last 2-3 years about a reunion gig. You know, just one last throw of the dice to get up there, play these songs again, you know, blast them out again in front of a decent audience, you know, and let off some pyros like we did, and just enjoy the whole Mandora spectacle again. So like I say, we had this conversation off and on over the past 2 to 3 years, and the last time that we had this conversation, I thought, right, well, nothing's going to ever happen unless you ask. And I must say, I had asked Duncan a couple of times previous to the last time about the possibility of getting together, and of course it didn't happen. It wasn't. So the time wasn't right previously for Duncan, being as busy as he is in his life. And so anyway, you know, one thing led to another, and I thought, one last chance. I was on Facebook one night, and, you know, I thought, right, I'm going to send Duncan a message and just put everything in the message, heart on the sleeve type of stuff, all the conversations me and Sean's ever had about this, and just put it to him. And, well, let's just say I was gobsmacked at the reply. Right, well, my reaction, again, like I say, was nothing short of gobsmacked, because not only did Duncan answer, but he answered immediately. I had only just sent me message when I got a reply from Duncan straight away, and I was bowled over with the enthusiasm, and, you know, straight away, I mean, at first I thought, is he joking? But then realised, hang on, no, he's serious, he's really wanting to do it. So we must have spent about an hour messaging each other that night, and basically putting the beginnings of it all together. And I kind of thought, like, you know, with Duncan on board, me and Sean already were eager to do it, if you like. With the three of us ready to go, you know, let's go for it. Let's see what the other lads think. And my reaction to the other two lads, Point, the bass player, and Chris on lead guitar, to immediately come on board with the idea and want to do it after 26 years is nothing short of mind-blowing to me. You know, because naturally I thought it could be a case of, I'm too busy, I'm doing this in my life, or even, you must be kidding, you know, it's been so long, there's no way I can do that again. But for the five of us to come together and make this real so fast, again, it's mind-blowing. Well, the difference this time around, obviously, is age. Because, you know, we're no longer teenagers, you know, we're no longer the way we used to be, obviously. You know, 26 years have passed. But having said that, I expect Mandora to be as true to Mandora as it ever was. Obviously, we'll have to look into image and where we want to take this, but I don't think we're going to be far short of who we used to be. We're just going to have, obviously, that bit more maturity, and you know, it's going to be great this time around, I believe, because today's technology, you know, what we have now compared to what we didn't have then, is going to make it all the better. We're planning on doing an album, which is phenomenal to me. It's a chance to bring stuff from the past back and rework it and give it a far better sound, or you know, give it the sound that we really wanted for it in the first place. Now we can do that. We can start creating again, writing again, which I'm very looking forward to, fresh material. As I believe that, you know, no disrespect to any previous band I've been in, but I fully believe I'm more creative in the partnership with Duncan musically. You know, with the music we've wrote through the years together, for me, is second to none. Absolutely. I mean, there is really, I mean, I think, you know, I like to think that Mandora obviously are remembered for the music and the show, but we're obviously going to be remembered for some of the mishaps along the way as well, and some of the chaos that went along with the band, you know, inevitably. You know, when you have a band like that that's trying to do big things, or sometimes big things in a small space, you're going to have the odd mishap here and there. So, of course, the amphitheatre with the exploding roadie has been documented many times, and people, you know about that in abundance. So, but there's many things I could go on about. We had situations when we went to see him. There was a situation at the Cyprus Hotel in Shields, and you know, which we could go in depth about, and you know, they're all great situations. But the one I'd like to bring to light is it's never really been spoken of as such, I think anyway, was Lacey's, a place called Lacey's at Tynedock, which just a small side street pub with a biggish room upstairs. And we set up upstairs. Mandora made the room their own, as we did with many venues, extended the stage and what have you, set our pyros up and that, backdrop. And of course we had a real decent following as well. You know, we were beginning to build a good following at that time. And God bless them, they all piled into Lacey's upstairs and enjoyed the show. I'm happy to say we had a great gig that night, and everybody was enjoying it, but enjoying it so much they were jumping up and down to just about every song. And when we came to the end of the night, I remember saying thank you, good night, and the place went wild, which was great. And we were at this point beginning to think, well, what we're going to do for our encore, should we, you know, and we're just debating what song to play. The crowd were shouting, "We want more," chanting and stamping their feet. And all of a sudden, the manager of Lacey's jumps up on the stage and rips my mic out of the stand and shouts, "No, we're having no more because the police are downstairs, the ceiling's caving in downstairs, so we want you all out as quick as possible." Like I said, no one really talks about that often, and that's a good memory for me. That's the chaos that went with Mandora. You know, we were caving in the ceiling of the bar downstairs with our audience. Madness. Well, obviously, where Image is concerned, we were never, ever a t-shirt and jean band, and I don't think we ever will be. I would hope not to be. No disrespect to anybody who goes around. I mean, my respect to anyone that gets up on stage is immense, you know, no matter what kind of music you're doing. If you have the guts to get up there and put on your show, whether you have a stage show, an Image or not, then you have my full appreciation. But as for Mandora, we were known for the stage show, we were known for the Image. Obviously, yes, again, I'm going to repeat myself by saying a lot of time's gone by. We're not kids anymore. So, of course, we've got to look at that. One, we have to be true to ourselves, and I think the plan of attack could be to have an image of what we want ourselves to look like, put that image together, then the 5 of us come together in full stage costume, and then help each other out. Maybe, something might not look right on me, and I'll be told, maybe change that, or how about wear this instead of that? What about these boots instead of those shoes? Who knows? So yeah, I think we'll help each other out, and we'll know instantly what's going to work, what isn't going to work. We're not going to embarrass ourselves, but we certainly want to put on as much of a show to go with the music as possible. If you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. You might as well put 100% in. And Mandora has been all about image in the past. I don't see why we're not going to be about image in the future. Well, it's interesting, that one, because, what we've got today is what Mandora never had back then, and that's internet, Facebook, YouTube, to instantly be able to have a wider audience, if not the world, basically. So it'll be interesting. See, out of Tyneside, these songs are brand new to people who don't know us. People who've never ever come across the band Mandora don't know the material, obviously. So it's an opportunity to rework these songs, get them as good as we possibly can, get them on the internet, and just see what the reaction is. I mean, if people don't like it, fine, you've got to take it on the chin. But if they do like it, then who knows what could happen. But to answer the question a bit further, what's always been very, very humbling to me is through the years as well, when I've bumped into people at various times and places, and when they've said, would you consider getting Mandora back together, this, that, and the other, they've remembered the song titles and Don't Take the Shot, for example. Sometimes people have actually sang the chorus to us. Again, you're standing there in a surreal situation because basically, you're nobody, but you've tried to be somebody, and you've wrote these songs, and it's very, very flattering that people 26 years later remember those songs. So I think to rework them as best as we can and get them back out there, I don't see why people won't enjoy them now, especially if they did enjoy them then. So it's not going to please everybody, but then again, nothing ever does. You can't please everybody all the time. But for those people that will enjoy it, that's what it's for. Those are the people that we're trying to reach. Well, that's a great question, because obviously back then, in my teen years, when we were doing it gung-ho, we were single, really. Yeah, some lads had girlfriends, whatever, but we were single lads at the end of the day, and pretty much going full steam ahead every spare minute into the band. Now, obviously, 26 years have gone by. We're basically all married or in relationships. We all have children. So it's a completely different situation, of course. But it's great. It's easier for me, I have to say, because I was still in bands up until 5 years ago. So out of all the lads, I've pretty much kept going. So my wife and kids are pretty much used to me being in a band situation. So it's easier for me in that respect. But as for what to think about it, I think my wife thought I was having a midlife crisis at first. So, but at least I told her I wasn't buying a Porsche driving off into the sunset. I'm just doing music, which I've loved all my life. And as for the kids, well, they all think it's great, and me little ones, I've showed them footage of Mandora, I've showed them the Facebook page, and they can't wait. I know they're too young to come to some of the venues we'll play, but hopefully we'll get something where it's child friendly and they can come along and enjoy the whole spectacle, because they are very much into it, I'm glad to say. Usually in music, kids are your market. You know, if you can get the kids into what you're doing, not only have you got a very wide market, but it's a continuing future market. So that would be great. It would be great. I hope kids don't, especially these days, you know, with all the various forms of music that they're into these days, I hope they don't look upon us as being, you know, has-beens or you know, dinosaurs or anything, relics, heavy metal relics of the past, you know. Some of the stigma that goes along with the likes of Black Sabbath reunion, Led Zeppelin reunion, and, you know, yes, they done very, very well, of course, because they're phenomenal bands, historical bands, but they have their own audience, which they can rely on time and time again. But for us to start from scratch again, and to reach kids, I think that would be an achievement in itself. I really would. And I would like to think that they would give us an opportunity and give us a listen as something different to what they're hearing today. No, I mean, I don't think we're going to struggle with it, or else I wouldn't have started the ball rolling in the first place. You know, I might have done many things and various things, but I'd like to think I'd never ever do anything that I don't think is going to work. So yeah, I think that the songs, the material that we have from the past, like I've said previously, me and Sean both one night thought, you know, that's really decent. That can stand up today, in our own humble opinion. We think that can stand up alongside any rock band that's got anything out there and be accounted for. And the fact that people were into the songs in the first place, well, obviously that helps a lot. And if those people, if they're still around and still interested and they come along and see what, if they're still interested, they're obviously going to go away and tell other people, hey, I've just seen Mandora again after 26 years, and hopefully they're going to say, what a show, what a sound, you've got to listen to this, you've got to have a piece of this. All I'm basically trying to say is, this is something been niggling me personally for years, about once and for all maybe putting Mandora to bed after another run of success, hopefully. Of course, I'm not trying to sound big-headed in any way, shape or form, but I do have belief in the Mandora material, the Mandora situation. I just hope we can have a good time with it and give everybody else that wants to come and see her and wants a part of it, I hope we can give them a good time too.